Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Spill the D. I'm Rick, one of your hosts, and I'm joined, as always, with my lovely co-host Gina. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm kind of falling apart after vacation, but that's okay. It's from pure exhaustion in the best way.
Yeah, it's been a rough road to recovery from this past weekend. Not that much sleep, but a whole lot of fun. For those that don't know, if you haven't been keeping up, we did spend this last weekend with our friends over at 407 and Beyond. We started our weekend out in Florida, and we ended up in the Bahamas at Perfect Day CocoCay on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and we're going to get to all the details in this episode. Very excited to talk about it.
Yes, me too. Like Rick said, if you don't know, we are the official podcast of 407 and Beyond. They are a travel agency that specializes in Disney, Universal, and Royal Caribbean. So we spent the weekend with some of the travel agents from 407 on April 7th, 407, to
Yep.
celebrate 407 and Beyond Vacation Co. as a whole. We
Mhm.
do it every year around that time, and usually it's Disney, but this year we went for Royal Caribbean.
Yeah, it was a nice change.
It was, so we're going to mix it up today. This is going to be a completely Disney-less episode, which we very rarely have. This might only be the third one in 4 years, a Disney-less
Yeah.
episode.
Notably, we did start our trip and end our trip in Disney. We're not going to
did.
talk about it today, though. So if you want any details on that, feel free to message us and we can tell you all about it.
They were just like quick days, like in and
Yeah.
out of the park because we had a little bit of
Yeah,
extra
it was like
time.
6 hours each or something like that.
Which we have done full episodes with that, but I have a feeling this Royal Caribbean one is gonna probably take up the whole 45 minutes.
Yeah, we squeezed a lot into one weekend, so we got a lot to talk about.
Yes. So, for starters, we traveled on the Utopia of the Seas. This is one of Royal Caribbean's newest boats. I think actually, at the time of recording, if you're listening to this in a year or two, this is already going to be outdated, but I think it is the newest boat right now.
I believe it is.
Because I was confused because it came out after the Icon, which is their biggest boat.
Yeah.
But Utopia is actually one class smaller than the Icon. I thought it was going to be Icon size. Found out a few months before that it was actually a little bit smaller.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, Royal Caribbean has different classes of boats. Most cruise companies do. And they're separated. There's like 3 or 4 boats in each class. I'm not 100% sure how many are in each class, but like the one that we were on is part of the Oasis class,
Which is the second biggest class.
Second biggest class. And like Gina said, the Icon, which came out, last year you said?
Yes, I believe it was 2024.
Is part of its own class of bigger ships.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is newer and smaller. It's really confusing how they do it.
But the next one that's coming out is going to be bigger than the Icon.
Yeah.
But in the Icon class.
Yeah, it's really confusing. If you go on Royal Caribbean's website, they have it all mapped out for you.
All broken down, so when you decide to pick your vacation, you can see the size of the ship.
Yes.
Which does make a difference because this ship was absolutely huge, and you didn't feel it too much. I didn't feel like you were walking too long until you went to your stateroom and you were on the wrong side of the ship.
Yeah.
It was long hallways.
Yeah, it was. And for reference, they have a running track around the boat. And I believe it was just over 2.5 laps around the boat.
2.4
was a mile.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pretty big boat. If you just do 1 lap, you're just under half a mile. So the boats are huge. And like Gina said, most of the time you don't feel it. It's only when you really need to be on the other side of the boat that you feel it.
So you're like, I've been walking forever.
Yeah.
And this hallway looks like it's never going to end.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say, it gets easier as the days go on. Like if you're doing like a 7-night cruise, I always find it so much easier to figure out where you're at and where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
But being that this was only a 3-night cruise, we didn't have enough time to figure it out. So even by the time we were getting off the boat, we were still on the wrong side.
If we passed the music hall, I knew we came up on the wrong side. That was how I knew. If I saw a music hall, I was like, oh, wrong way. Got a mile-long walk now. All right, so yeah, like Rick said, there was only 3 nights. We went from Friday to Monday. Nice, quick little weekend cruise. The Utopia's tagline is like the biggest weekend at sea or something along those lines. And it delivered. So we got on Friday morning. So a few weeks before the day that you cruise, you're going to check in, and that is when you're going to pick your boarding time. So the earlier that you check in, the better the boarding time you're going to get. We ended up with 11:30, but when we checked in again the night before to do our health check, that you have to do the day before no matter what, we got express boarding. It was completely random. If you get it, I highly recommend you take advantage of it. This was really 100%. Cool. We got to basically go right past security and go through a different security center We don't fully know why we were selected. It said it
Yeah.
was random. When we looked into it, it said that it would tend to be going to people who were in their rewards program, which we both are. But so is almost everybody on the boat.
Yeah.
So I think it really might have just been luck of the draw.
Yeah, and basically what it is it works similar to TSA pre-check. So there's a security or a check-in line.
Security.
There's a check-in line where everybody's checking in to the cruise. There's a separate check-in line for express, and then when you go through security, you get to bypass checking in again. You have to check in twice.
So the second time that you check in is when you would show your passport. We showed our passport the first time, so then the second time we got to just completely pass the passport part.
Yeah.
Which was a pretty long line to do, was to do the passport part. So definitely take advantage of this if you get it. Don't be a hero and go wait for your people.
Yeah.
Just go meet them on the boat. We ended up waiting for people after anyway, so we only like half took advantage of it. But if we weren't with 407, we would have ditched whoever we were with, and we would have went right on that boat, and we would have met them in a restaurant on the boat or something.
I will say, based on the fact that both of us ended up with it, I would assume that anyone in your party
we were linked to a few other people on the app, and they didn't get it. So I think it was because we were in the same room.
Same stateroom.
Yeah, so I think stateroom might make a difference. I'm sure if it's one family and 2 staterooms, they're probably booked differently than how we were booked, but I agree with what you're saying. I don't think that they would separate people if they were the same stateroom, but the same party they would.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this is on your boarding pass for the ship. It'll just, I think it's actually a different color, isn't it?
It was ours turned purple.
It turned purple, and it said Express in the top right corner. So just keep an eye out for that.
And they gave us a little sticker to put on, so we were VIP all day. It literally only mattered until we were on the boat, but it was still fun.
Yeah, so definitely keep an eye out for that because it didn't save us too much time. We ended up hitting it really lucky, but we, like Gina said, we were waiting for some people, and they got stuck in security for like over 30 minutes, and they would have been able to bypass all of it.
Yeah, the people we were with, they got through almost as quickly as we did. They were only like 2 minutes behind us. So from that point on, it was just killing time until our staterooms were ready at 1 o'clock.
Yep.
We had our bathing suits with us, but this was most definitely a full sailing. The pool looked like a sardine can. Everyone was literally like shoved in there. It was so crowded on the pool deck. So what we did instead was we went and got lunch with a bunch of the agents.
At El Loco Fresh, which is a Mexican restaurant that they have on the pool deck. And you can get tacos, you can get quesadillas, you can get burritos. They have, what's it called? Dulce de leche or whatever, the cake that they have.
They had flan.
They have flan.
I made nachos. It's like buffet style.
Yeah.
And you just build it yourself.
Yeah.
And it was delicious.
Yeah, it's really good. We've eaten there before on a previous boat that we were on. We loved it then. We loved it now. It's mostly fresh. Every once in a while you get something that's sitting there, but that happens all the time. But it's mostly fresh and it tastes delicious.
Now, one of the reasons that I'm going to highly recommend doing something like this on your sailing day is because this boat was mobbed. It was crazy. Everyone gets on the boat and they want to go to the pool. They want to go get food. And they all go to the Windjammer, which is the buffet. And the buffet will be chaotic. So somewhere like this that is also included in your cruise that is free to eat at usually won't be as crowded because everyone just thinks, let me go right to the buffet. They don't realize right away that there are these other options, especially if it's their first cruise or their first time on that boat. So highly recommend because there was no crowds when we were there, very minimal crowds as we were leaving. We were able to get nice fresh food without having to deal with the chaos, and we got to sit outside on a boat in Florida.
Yep.
Because it's outdoor seating there. So that was also pretty great.
Yeah, it was. Shortly after we finished lunch, we got the message that our rooms are ready.
Yes, so we went and we checked into our room, checked it out. We had a balcony room, so we did a little video tour, posted it on the story. It'll be in the little Royal Caribbean highlight reel on Instagram. Not much on there, but there will be.
More to come.
More to come. More to come. But that room will be on there. We had a great room with a beautiful view.
I loved our room. This is
too.
my first outside balcony.
Me too.
On a cruise.
The only other time we had a balcony, we had the inside one that looked at Central Park.
And I loved it. I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Did you like it more than the inside room?
Yes.
What about more than the inside balcony?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So best room you've ever had.
I mean, my favorite part of being on the boats is the at sea days. As much as I love going to new places and traveling and seeing new things, I could go on a boat that just went to nowhere, which they do have those, and just do 7 days at sea and be done. So the fact that I could just go out on my balcony and see the ocean, I mean, that's really all I need.
That's fair. We did sit out there a lot because it's really all you need sometimes.
Yeah, take advantage of it.
We both brought books too, so we just sat out there with books. Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Now, something that was entertaining during the cruise was I was actually responsible for the YouTube channel. I apologize if you are watching it and you're like, this girl's never filmed a video in her life, because I haven't. I just did my best. But one of the things that I put an effort into doing with that was finding all the agents. So on that first day, we went on what I was calling agent hunting, and we were trying to find them to get videos of them all around the boat. So one of the spots we did find them was the pool deck for the sail away party. So we got to go to the sail away party. What did you think?
It was a lot of people. It was fun. I love, like, one of my favorite parts about cruises is the music. It's always just so upbeat and so like relaxing, like the reggae style music that they have on the pool deck all the time. And if it's not that, it's a party. It's a Pitbull party mix. And that's my favorite thing in the world. So, yeah, I mean, I thought it was fun. We didn't participate in the anything in the pool. I know they had like people walking around with like shots and stuff like that. But we didn't participate in any of that. We were just kind of there watching.
We were too busy hunting.
But it looked like everybody was having a great time. So
we danced around a little bit.
We did, yeah.
Especially once we found some agents. That was the moment when I realized how crowded the boat actually was.
Yeah.
Was when we were agent hunting, because it was really hard to find people. We found them eventually, but even like they would message us and say, I'm at the pool. And we still would get to the pool and had no idea where they were. Also, there was like 7 pools total, including the adults only. So yeah, that was a challenge in itself. Yeah, and just walking around the pool deck with everybody out there, like Gina said, first place everybody goes is the pool and the windjammer. You would think by how full the pool was that the windjammer was going to be empty. It wasn't. None of it was ever empty. You know what was strangely empty that I wasn't expecting? And this was almost the entire cruise. It was like this. What's that? The solarium, the adults only area. People were really crowding more towards the main pools. I don't know if it's because it's spring break and maybe a lot of the adults that were there had kids with them, but the adults only area was pretty empty for the majority of the cruise. You could always find a chair in there. You could even find those nice big couches easily. Like, it really wasn't too packed in there at any point. Yeah, I feel like there's been rare occasions where I've seen the solarium packed, but for the most part, I feel like a lot of people hang out around the main pools. It definitely showed on this cruise. Yeah. It definitely like you said, spring break probably had something to do with that. Yeah. But... yeah, maybe. It was definitely the least crowded spot. Even when we hit the pool, we ended up in there because it was the least crowded. Yeah. But there was a lot of kids, so I do think spring break has something to do with it. Now, we did a few things to end this day out. First, we had our first fancy dinner at the dining hall. It's fancier than that. Fancy in quotes. The main dining room. Fancy what? Fancy in quotes. I think it's fancy. It's fancier than the buffet. It is fancier than the buffet. Main dining room, delicious prime rib. I was so happy. I'm going to make a recommendation for anybody who's going on, specifically Royal Caribbean. I can't speak to other cruise lines because I've only been on Royal Caribbean. But if you get the opportunity, eat your meals at the dining room. I know you want to get your money's worth. I know you want to get as much food as you can at the buffet. The food tastes so much better in the dining room, and it's like a full 3-course meal. They give you an appetizer, they give you entree and a dessert, and they give you a menu, and you can pick as much as you want. So it's not a buffet, but you can still get as much food as you'll be able to eat. You can pick 2 entrees, you can pick 3 appetizers, whatever you want to do. I got 2 desserts every night. Yeah. So just a quick recommendation for anybody going on. You don't always have to eat at the buffet. Eat at the dining room if you can. It's really nice. It is really nice. We also, I forgot to mention, we were kind of bar hopping throughout the day. When we would get drinks, we were trying all the new bars. But before dinner, we met with all the 407 agents and went to Trellis Bar in the Central Park area of the ship. Yes, the ship is so big, it had a Central Park. And we got drinks with them, and that area was one of my favorite bars that we went to just because of how nice and relaxing it was to be sitting there in the park just with a nice drink in my hand. It was the smallest bar. Yeah. That's my only complaint. There was not enough seats, so we came with a group of too many people. And because there's other people there was no room for us. Yeah. But the drinks were good, and when we found a different area in the park to sit, the vibes were immaculate. Yep. And then there's 2 more things that are worth noting on this day. Okay. One, Rick's favorite party has been replaced on the Utopia.
Oh yeah, the '80s themed party.
The
used to be,
80s or
right?
70s?
Oh, it was '70s disco, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, the 70s disco has been replaced.
Ooh.
Now it is a one-hit wonders party. Still in the main promenade.
For the record, it wasn't disco, but a lot of the music was still '70s
Yes.
and '80s music.
It was. It definitely was. But they were able to throw in like the Macarena and
Yeah.
Gangnam Style.
Yeah, it was really just like, what can we add to the disco theme to make it a little bit more modern?
I think Barbie Girl played at one point. That's
Yeah.
one hit wonder, right?
Yeah.
I think that one played. I liked it. I honestly liked it more than the disco, I think. The only complaint about it compared to the disco, where I think the disco won, it wasn't as crowded. And that could just be because when you go to the disco party on the cruises, they have such a big following at this point.
Yeah.
So people might not have realized that the one hit wonder party is replacing that party.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it might not be on every boat that it's replacing it, but on this boat, it was replacing it.
Yeah, there
It
was
definitely
no
took the
disco
spot
party.
of it.
No, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Like you said, there definitely wasn't as many people there, and I didn't see as many people dancing as you usually do at the disco. But like, one hit wonders aren't necessarily all dancing songs.
I crushed
Disco songs
Macarena.
are.
Just saying. And then the other thing, Aqua 82.
Great show.
Great show. So this is how would you describe this show?
Aqua aerobatics. I don't know.
So
Is
there's
aerobatics a word?
I know, I don't think so. So there's
Aqua
but there is a
aerobics?
word that should be there. It's not aerobics either. Acrobatics? Is that what you're trying to say?
Aqua acrobatics.
Okay, so
That sounds right.
Okay, there was professional divers. There was synchronized swimmers.
Tightrope walkers.
Tightrope walkers, both low over the water and up high over the entire crowd. There was aerial aerobatics.
It's a word
It's definitely
now.
acrobatics. There's aerial acrobatics. There was so much going on, and this was 80s themed.
Yes, it was all 80s music
No-
throughout the whole thing.
This was called Aqua 82, as in TOO. And the reason it had this name was because actually on the other boats, it's called the Aqua 80s. We went and saw this, and it's when we were on our honeymoon, actually, on the Oasis. It is a bunch of hit songs from the 80s is what they're doing. All their dancing and their aerobatics. I can't not use the word now. That's what they're using. It's what they're using to dance to. So this is just a whole nother set of 80s songs. And it is so much fun. It's all music that gets you moving, gets you dancing along with them, but you can't keep up with them because they are crushing it. They are high diving on this boat that if a wave came, they're missing the water. Like, it's crazy. It's so cool. And I feel like everyone has some part that they appreciate. If you don't appreciate the whole thing, there's still at least one thing that you're like, that was cool.
My favorite part about this show and the Aqua 80 when we originally saw that one is whenever they get to the extreme high dives, because like they do like multiple tiers of dives, and the last like set of dives that they do is super high, and there's always a handful of people in the audience that when they jump they go and I love it.
It was the people with us.
It was.
I love the diving part.
It's so cool.
I grew up in a swimmer family. It was like
It's so impressive.
it is so cool. But after that was pretty late at night actually. So after that, we went to the Schooner Bar, which was the piano bar. And spoiler alert, that is how we ended our night every single night. Highly recommend.
It was a good time.
Yes, the pianist in there was so good. It was not dueling pianos, it was just one, but it was just as fun as Jelly Rolls at Walt Disney World. Look at that. It's it. There, we got some Disney in the episode for you guys. All right, Saturday. We woke up. We were in Nassau, an island in the Bahamas.
Oh yeah.
We did not get off the boat in Nassau.
No. We got off the boat last time we were there. It's very nice. And if we had been on Utopia before, we would have gotten off. But we really wanted to spend the day getting as much of the boat as possible.
And we were hoping that it would be less crowded than it was the day before, because the day before it's just long lines because everybody wants to do everything, which is fair. Everybody paid a lot of money to be there. I get it. But we wanted to do everything too. Yeah.
The boat was more empty. There was more people than I thought would stay on.
I think a lot of people have the same logic of us as it's only 3 days. I'll stay on the boat this day, get off the next. I think that was a lot of people's logic.
But it was noticeably less crowded.
Yes.
Either way.
So this was the day that I referred to as our sports day.
We did a lot.
We did a lot. So I'm just going to list off for you guys everything that we did. And basically, it's everything the boat offers.
Yeah.
So we did the Flow Rider, which is the stand-up surfing or boogie board, where it's like the waves are right there. And it's a small little section. I can't think of a better way to describe that. How'd I do?
What?
With Flow Rider. If people don't know what the Flow Rider is, did I explain it? Like simulation?
It's the thing you see on the commercials all the time where there's a bunch of water flowing up and someone's on a boogie board. They have it on every commercial. So if you've seen a commercial for Royal Caribbean, you've seen it.
This is so much fun. I didn't do it this time. Only Rick did. I was going to do it later, but then he kind of got screwed over with it. And so we gave up on it.
Yeah. And again, it was a 3-day cruise. If there was another like day at sea or like another opportunity for us to go back, we probably would have.
Yeah.
There just wasn't with the time that was allotted. So.
Yeah. We also did the zip line, which actually flies from the sports deck to another sports deck, but over Central Park.
Yeah, really cool.
We went rock climbing. There were rock climbing walls. They have designated times for certain ages to rock climb, but there also are open climb times that they don't put on the app. So all you have to do is ask your stateroom attendant or guest services to give you a physical copy of what they call the cruise compass, which is your itinerary for the whole day. Anything that you could possibly do on the boat will be on there. And they'll have hours when things like the rock climbing wall are open that aren't scheduled times for certain age groups.
Notably, like a lot of companies and places, they're trying to go as green as possible. So they've condensed everything onto the app. Unfortunately, that doesn't have hours for anything on it. It doesn't have any of the extra like foods. Like they have the little pizza joint. They have like sandwiches and drinks that you can get. The Flow Rider, like all of the sporting events and the extra food stuff. It doesn't have any of those hours on there. So if you want that, you do have to go either ask guest services or get a paper copy from your room attendant.
Yeah, because we wanted to do it and we found out it was open from 1 to 6. But all that we saw on the app was that it was open for teens from 6 to 9.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it was a teen specific time. So definitely consider that. Don't just assume something is closed because it's not being listed on the app.
Yeah.
Ask for the cruise compass.
Yep.
At guest services, or again, if you tell your stateroom attendant that you want a physical copy, they'll make sure the night like every night you have a cruise compass in your room for the next day.
Yeah, they'll still give you one. They just don't want to waste the paper. So.
Yeah, if you don't want it, they don't want to waste it on you. We also rode the water slides at the pool.
Yep.
We did the big funnel one.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It's a good time.
I got flipped over on my stomach. You got stuck.
Yeah.
Elizabeth got hardcore stuck. We had a good time though. We all came out laughing. So highly recommend that as well. We played laser tag.
I love laser tag. It's so fun.
This one is scheduled times, and you do have to schedule an appointment. You have to like register for a certain time. But in the app, it'll have like every 15 minutes, it'll say laser tag, and you go in and click which 15-minute window you want. This is fun. The teams get randomly separated. Me, Bruce, and Elizabeth all got separated onto one team. Rick got separated on the other.
And
with
I had like
6 kids under 6.
I had like 6 5-year-olds on my team. It was so bad. I was the highest scorer on my team by like 2,000 points at least, and my team lost by like 15,000 maybe.
Our score doubled your score.
Yeah,
whatever
it was bad.
It was. Like,
it was really bad.
Half the kids weren't even holding the gun right. And I showed no mercy. Like if a kid was there, I was shooting them. Yeah. This one dad was trying to help the kids. This is mean. I was mean. This one dad, I'm very competitive, everybody. This one dad was trying to help the kids. And every time his gun would turn back on, I would shoot him because he didn't know I was like through a window behind him. So I just kept shooting his back, and he thought his gun was broken because he was just standing still. So I just kept shooting him. I found out later he was trying to help a kid, but it was so fun. My points were racking up, and he thought his gun broke.
Really fun though.
It is really fun.
I do want to make a note. Laser tag is one of the things that you have to schedule. One of the other things you have to schedule is the escape room. That one does cost money. Laser tag is free. But they're both like on the app thing. That's why I wanted to point it out. Because if you go on and you see the escape room, you will have to pay for that one if you do it. But laser tag is included. And it happens like most of the day.
Yeah, I think the escape room's like $30 a person.
I think so.
Something around that. Something that I always think is too much money.
Yeah.
When everything else is free. But if you're really big into escape rooms, it could be worth it.
I would love to do one time.
Maybe if you're like a cruise credit and you're not a drinker, all your food's included. Cool, let's go to the escape room. We played mini golf.
I played a lot of mini golf.
Yeah? Oh, yeah, because you played the first day too.
We tried to go back and play the last day, but it was closed.
When? Where was that?
At night when we were doing when me, Bruce, Silas, and Zach were doing all the competitions all day. We were like, after the frat party that we went to, we were like, let's go play mini golf because we were 1-1 on beer pong, so we were gonna go do that as like a tiebreaker.
And it was close.
Yeah.
You tied with a lot of things. We tied at mini golf. We did girls versus boys.
Yeah.
And we tied. And we were going to do like a one hole to decide it, but it was really crowded once we got done. Like,
well, Zach and I crushed Bruce and Silas in most of the things that we did that day.
I heard that you won everything that day. Bruce won nothing.
He didn't. He was so upset. He was so upset.
And mini golf is just first come, first serve. You don't have to register for that. We also rode the Abyss slide, which takes you from the 15th floor. 16th floor? 16th. So the pool's on the 15th, so it's the 16th.
Yeah, it's the same one that the flow rider and the zip line and all that stuff is on.
So it's going to take you from the 16th floor down to the 6th floor. So it's a 10-story slide, not a water slide, just a dry slide. Really cool thing about this that I really like. It's the smallest thing. You can bring all of your stuff with you. As long as you don't have a drink. You can't bring a drink. But
if you have a bag, you can have your hat, you can have sunglasses, whatever.
You just
there's
shove it all in the little pouch.
There's a little like pouch where your feet go, and you just put it all in there, and you're fine.
So you don't have to come back up to the 16th floor after you hit the 6th floor. So like we wanted to go down to the 6th floor and get hot dogs, so we took the slide down and got hot dogs.
It's really like just a fun way to get from the top floor down to not Central Park floor. It's
Boardwalk.
The boardwalk.
Mm-hmm. And then we had a little bit of relaxing. So we were walking around the pool. We did a little bit of agent hunting. Mm-hmm. Got some fun videos. Ran into the sexiest man contest. Not as entertaining as normal. Usually there's some really old men that want to do it. It was all young guys who actually were kind of attractive. That's not fun. We want to see the 80-year-old man. What'd you think?
I've seen better.
Also wanted the 80-year-old man?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
the overconfident 80-year-old man. That's always the best. What you want.
It's always the best. I mean, it was fine. I didn't mind watching it, but
yeah,
it could have been better with an 80-year-old man.
From what I heard, the guy who won, his kid was mortified, which is fair.
Yeah, they said he had like a 14-year-old there. It was on like a father-son trip.
Yeah. Kind of funny.
I think it's funny too. I think it's funny because I'm not the kid. That poor guy.
Yeah, that poor kid.
And the last thing we did, I'm still going to classify this as the sports day. We went to the pool, so we lounged in the solarium.
Yeah, we got to sit in the really comfortable chairs that like are partially in the water and partially not. This
was actually something I loved about this boat. We were, like we said, we've been on the Oasis, which is the same class, and they didn't have this.
Yeah.
They were pool chairs that were like the kind that partially are in the pool, so you can be laying down and like
it's like a wavy shape.
Yeah, and your butt and your feet.
Butt and your feet are in the water.
It's really nice.
It is.
They had the lounging ones and the regular sit-up ones.
Yeah.
Which when you sat in those, was your butt wet or just your feet in that one?
I think my butt was wet.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Either way, I very much enjoyed it because I love like being in the water. I don't want to be like sitting on the side.
Yeah.
But we did find some agents, like we said, in the solarium. We found 2 agents, Sarah and Nicole. Oh, and Melissa ended up being with them too, who parked it in the solarium and did not move all day.
Good for them.
Right? They said that they were exhausted from the day before, from running around and doing things, and they said, this is my spot. This is where I will be. Come find me if you need me. I'm not moving. And they stuck with it.
Yeah.
And then we had what I called the 407 night. Now, every night ended with us being with the 407 agents. We tried to find them throughout the day, but every night it seemed like we all, after dinner, stayed together, which was really nice.
Yeah, so it worked out that we all had dinner in the same, like, vicinity. We were all, like, I think it was 4 or 5 tables just next to each other.
That wasn't just coincidence either. That's something that one of the agents was able to set up. The agent who did most of the booking was able to get that set up for everybody, and that's a perk of using a 407 and beyond agent.
Yeah.
They did all that work. We just showed up and our table was right with everybody where we needed it to be.
Yeah, so if it wasn't the entire group moving as a whole after dinner most of the time, it was like half and half maybe, and then we all would end up, like Gina said, at the piano bar at the end of the night pretty much.
Yes. So before dinner, we met up, and if you're watching on the 407 and Beyond YouTube channel, you might have noticed my shirt that I'm currently wearing. We surprised the owner of 407 and Beyond. His name is Bruce. He's been on here before. If you don't know him, go check out The Force of Memory on YouTube, and you'll see his face on my shirt currently. We got these beautiful Hawaiian shirts. And we all showed up to dinner wearing them. We brought him his own because who doesn't want a shirt with their own face on it? He was a really good sport about it. Yeah. Bruce loves a good prank. He loves to prank other people. He also can take a joke really well. So
yeah. So this was for him.
This was for him. It's not a 407 week if we didn't prank Bruce. Some of the agents came up with this, and every single person was on board.
No one said no.
Everyone was like, yes, here's my money. And now I get to wear this all the time. So, win-win. I'm actually surprised you didn't wear yours for the episode.
I didn't think about it.
You didn't want to match me?
Maybe a little too much color if we both wore them.
Too much pop on this purple wall. Oh, no. Got Bruce right here on my sleeve. It's like he's here with us. One of the agents was like FaceTiming her kid and put a filter on her face, and it put it on Bruce's face.
That's funny.
But yeah, so we all walked around wearing this for the rest of the night. We had dinner. We went to the piano bar, as always, because we love the piano bar. And then we headed to Crazy Quest.
This is a very fun game show. I will say, I've had more fun at this game show, but it was a good time still. So what this is it's an adults-only game show, and it's in where they have the ice skating rink. What they do is they separate you into teams. You have team captains, and then they will say to do certain things. So, like, for example, one of the things that they have you do is, like, they'll say, I need your team captain, and I need 3 men's belts. And they gotta run up and show 3 belts, and then you get points, whatever. Most points at the end of the game wins. All that classic game stuff. But it is adults only, so there is some more risque things that happen. Not gonna get into details, but
because we are not an adults only podcast.
Yeah, but it's a fun show if you're 18 plus. Maybe like 20 plus.
So to give you an idea of the show, and you can decide if this is your sense of humor or not. It's 18 and up that you have to be to go in. Some of the agents said that they wish it was 21 and up.
Yeah.
So with that information and with the general idea of what Rick said, you can make the decision on if you think it would be entertaining for you to go in. Yeah. For me, it was really entertaining because I was laughing at the show, and then I was turn and laugh at Bruce's face because it's not his cup of tea.
Yeah.
So you just know if it's something you would like. You'll be able to tell just by the description we just gave. So do what you want with that information.
Yeah, exactly.
But it honestly is one of my favorite parts of the cruises.
Yeah, if it is your cup of tea, I highly recommend going and seeing it because it's a great time. Everybody in there is mostly into the show for the entire time.
If you want to be more of a participant in it, sit lower down towards the floor. If you really just want to watch and laugh and enjoy it, sit more up towards the top.
Yeah, Gina and I have both been a part of being like a team captain for the show before, and this time we just kind of sat back and watched, and we didn't really do anything. And I had a good time.
I did too. I had a good time both ways.
Yeah.
Not upset either way.
Yep.
And following that, we went to bed and woke up Sunday morning for our perfect day at CocoCay, Royal Caribbean's private island.
Yeah, so last time we were there, which was
2019,
a long time ago.
Wow, that is a long time ago.
They were still working on the water park, so there was a little bit of construction and stuff going on. So this was our first time seeing it completely finished for now. It's obviously probably going to change in the future. But what were your first thoughts when we got off?
It's so gorgeous.
It's awesome.
It's so inviting. It just makes you want to explore it. The water is beautiful. Like, it's just a beautiful, beautiful island.
Yeah, so the way they have the island set up is dead center of the island almost. They have a water park. They have multiple food stations all around. And then there's various beaches that you can go to along the outside of the island.
We went to South Beach, which was the farthest beach away.
Yes.
We were like some of the first people off the boat. We were able to get off at 8 a.m. Went right to South Beach. Honestly, I wouldn't do that again if you're going to be the first people off the boat. We had talked about it, and we were like, we did not need to walk this far. But if you're getting off the boat a little bit later, even closer to like 9 a.m., I'd recommend walking to South Beach. Or if there's another boat there that already has people off the boat, it might be worth it to walk all the way to South Beach. It is literally the other side of the island.
Yeah.
Like, we walked all the way around. There's also a tram that will take you, but the tram it didn't pass us at all. So we must have been out earlier than the tram was going.
Yeah.
But again, we were passing beaches that had no people on them. We were just told, go there.
Yeah.
So if you're like the first people off, as long as you can get a good spot on the other beaches, go for it. If not, I recommend walking to South Beach. The other advantage that we had walking to South Beach was in the middle of the day, we did go take a walk to the other beaches. We found some of the agents who didn't go to South Beach, and we realized we did have the least crowded beach.
Yeah, for reference, middle of the day, there was still probably half of the seats open on our beach as far as like just random chairs on the beach. And every other one that we went to, I don't think I saw an open chair.
Yeah. But because we were first on the beach to get like a bunch of seats in the front row for all the agents for when they got there, it was perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, each of the beaches had the same things on them. They had the different sports activities. They had the volleyball. I think some of them ours had basketball. Other ones had basketball as well, right?
They had other games. Like the one had volleyball. They had giant chess and checkers. They had pickleball. They had cornhole. There was a bunch of stuff all over the place.
So each of them had different versions of that.
Yeah.
Each of them had snack shacks, so you can go get a quick bite to eat.
Yep.
Each of them were pretty walking distance from like the main buffets. There was at least 2 that I saw, maybe 3, like the main buffets that you could go to that had more food options. I actually preferred the snack shacks.
I thought the snack shack was delicious. The mozzarella sticks were amazing.
Yeah, it was mozzarella sticks, burgers, chicken sandwiches,
funnel cake, just really brownies. And then they had the drink stations, like just really quick, more like grab and go food. Yeah, and right there.
But I thought it tasted better and fresher than the food at the buffet because we also went to the buffet and the buffet was fine, but I would have just stuck with the snack shack.
Yeah, I agree.
If you weren't like crazy hungry, if you could just eat that until you got back on the boat for your full buffet later.
Yeah.
Then you'd be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, we spent the entire day on CocoCay. We got off the boat as soon as we could. We were some of the first people off the boat, and we stayed off the boat until I didn't keep track. Libby, we walked on with her. She kept track. She's one of the agents. She said we got on the boat at 4:53. We had to be on the boat at 5.
Yeah. You spent about 90% of the day in the water.
I did. I didn't realize how much I spent in the water until I thought back, and I was like, I didn't play any games. Well, I did. I played mermaids. But I was like, I didn't play any cornhole, no ring toss, nothing. I was either out of the water eating or in the water swimming.
Yeah, it's probably 50-50, I would say, because I was out of the water with Bruce, Silas, and Zach for a good amount of time playing cornhole and ring toss and stuff. But yeah, we spent a lot of the day in the water. It's hard not to when you get to a really nice beach that has clear water.
The good thing about going with such a large group is there was always someone who wanted to do what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I kind of just stayed in the water for most of the day, and people just kind of would, when they wanted to come in, would then come hang out with me.
Yeah, it's nice. It was definitely nice because like you're more of a in the water beach type of person. I'm more of a on the beach type of person.
Yes.
So
it worked out really well. We saw each other at the end of the day. It was fine.
Yeah.
Got lunch together.
Yeah, exactly.
How many mozzarella sticks did you eat?
12.
Nice.
Yeah.
I ate 1. Me and Avery shared them. Well, you guys were like betting mozzarella sticks, weren't you?
Well, no. Bruce at one point said, "Loser has to go get everybody mozzarella sticks," and then he lost, so he had to go get us all mozzarella sticks.
That's funny. I meant you to walk up and say, "Can I have 4 trays of mozzarella sticks, please?"
Yeah,
that's awesome. So some of the travel agents bought tickets to Hideaway Bay.
Yeah.
Or the Hideaway Beach, sorry, which was the adults only beach. We did not have the tickets, so we weren't able to see it, but they did highly recommend it. They said the food was a little bit better, a little bit more high end of food choices, and it was adults only, much quieter, and just very relaxing.
Makes sense.
We did have kids everywhere around us.
Yes, but we don't care. So.
We don't care. There was also kids splash areas and stuff over by the water park, so there was a lot of kids there too. Some of the agents, 2 different sets of agents actually, bought these like cabana beds. This is what I thought was one of the best deals on the island.
Yeah,
they paid $300 for a beach bed. This bed was like shaded. Was it shaded?
You could make it shaded. It had like curtains on the side that you could do.
So it was just a bed in the middle of the beach with the curtains on the side. In front of the bed was 2 lounge chairs reserved for them and a cooler stocked with water bottles. They also got 2 mats for the ocean because they had these mats that you could rent for $21. They got 2 of them included with the cabana, so if they wanted to go out in the water, they could just lay out there. They also did not have to leave if they didn't want to. There was a server who would bring them food.
Yep, if you had the drink package, which I think is one of the biggest things with this, they have, like Gina said, servers walking around the whole time. So if you have the drink package, it does work on the island. Soda and alcohol, it does work on the island. So if you have one of these beach cabana beds and you don't want to move, you don't have to, because they'll be around and you can just say, hey, can you get me this? Give them your card. They'll get it for you and you're good to go.
They did not move all day.
Super convenient.
They didn't. They both brought their books and they laid there all day. They didn't have to move. Why would they?
Yeah.
So they said they paid about $300 for it. That was pre-sale. Once you're on the boat, all the discounts go away. So that one would have been closer to $500 if you bought it once you got there. So make sure to look ahead of time. Tell your travel agent if you want something like that, and they can be watching the prices for you, because different days they offer different deals. Sometimes, like Black Friday, for instance, they'll offer more deals and more discounts on things. So I think they paid $300. I think the other agent paid closer to $250 for theirs.
Notably, also, the agents that we talked to said that there is, I believe, a 4-person limit to these cabana beds.
Yes.
Is technically what they say on the website. So,
which sounds worth it. First of all, that bed was bigger than a king. 4 people could have laid out on it all at once if they wanted.
Yeah.
But either way, you had the bed plus the 2 chairs plus the 2 mats.
Yeah.
So perfect. We checked out the Oasis pool, which was the giant pool Rick was talking about that's in the middle of the island. So there, if you're not a beach person, there is a giant pool with a swim-up bar waiting for you.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Not
it's
a
a whole lot of people in one enclosed pool.
So when we were there in 2019, that pool felt jam-packed when we went into it.
Uh-huh.
This time, I felt like more people were at the beach. It could be because that pool was still new then.
Yeah.
And maybe it was all the people who were like regular cruisers who wanted to experience it.
Yeah.
But it did not look nearly as crowded as it did the last time we were
No,
there.
it didn't. It didn't.
It didn't seem that bad to me. So yeah, then we were back to the boat by 5 o'clock. That was our whole day at CocoCay, and I thought it was perfect.
Yeah, it was a great time. I had so much fun playing games, being in the ocean. I'm not, like, if we go to the shore up here, the Jersey Shore, I'm not an ocean person. I don't go in the ocean. And I was in the ocean for probably half the day, so.
I'm an ocean person there, too. I like to swim.
I like to be able to see my feet.
Honestly, it was a little cloudy there so at some parts. So even at some parts, I was like, I can't see anything.
Yeah.
I don't know what's touching me right now because there's fish all around us.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. I got a little burnt, a little toasty.
Yeah, we all did.
We all did. My lip did. That's my worst thing. I didn't have chapstick on, and my lip is burnt, and it hurts when I smile.
Yeah.
But it's okay, because we're not going to let anything hold us back. So we had to be back to the boat. We went to dinner, our nice dinner. We did not wear the Bruce shirts that night, but we just went to our nice final dinner with the 407 and Beyond crew.
I had lamb.
2 bowls of lamb. What did I have? I had steak. I had steak every night.
You did. You and Silas.
I ordered whatever Silas ordered. It wasn't on purpose. We just had the same meal every night. And I had 2 desserts. Every night I got whatever dessert I wanted and chocolate ice cream.
Nice.
Then we all went to a frat party. That was one of the parties being thrown by Royal Caribbean. Not as crowded as I thought. We took up most of it. It was a good time. We played beer pong. We played flip cup.
I think if we weren't there, it would have been kind of lame, to be honest, because we had so many people there.
Yeah, we brought the whole party. Like, there was about 20 of us in there.
Yeah.
And there was about 30 people total.
Yeah. It was only an hour and a half. It wasn't like a full night party. It was just like a fun, let's do this for a little bit kind of thing. It was fun, though. They had games. Obviously, they had the bar there, so you could get drinks and stuff. But, yeah, it was cool.
It was cool. Kicked butt at flip cup. Got my butt kicked at pong. I couldn't get the ball in those cups. They were funky.
It was very bouncy.
Yeah, they weren't normal solo cups, which is weird because it was normal solo cups for flip cup.
Yeah, I don't know.
But they were like reusable
really bouncy
cups
yeah.
that every time I hit the ball in, it bounced out of it. And
it was like a double rim in basketball.
Yeah, it just kept doing that, and I was like, okay. And then the ball went in and was spinning. Sorry if you've never played flip cup, but if you have, what I'm about to say is gonna make sense. The ball went in and was doing the spin thing.
Yeah.
And I blew it to get it out. And it just stayed in there.
Oh, really?
It shot up, but it wouldn't come out all the way because the cup was too wide.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I'm done. I was so annoyed. Like, when people were like, oh, there's flip cup. I was like, cool, we're out. Let's go.
Let's get out of here.
And I took a whole crew over there. I versed the cruise director. He was sitting there and I was like, you want to play flip cup? And it was me versus him because no one else was ready yet. They had to ask me if I won.
Did you win?
Yeah. I had to teach him how to play. He didn't know how to play.
That's funny.
So following the frat party, we got drinks with the agents at the Irish bar.
Yeah.
In the Promenade. What'd you think of that bar?
I didn't spend a lot of time there because I had to figure out the credit card.
And you were at the frat party and then meeting off. I spent a lot of time there. It was nice. They had live music going and we all just sat there.
The beer was good. I had a good beer there.
Yes, it was a golden wheat.
Yeah. Would get that again.
None of their drinks sounded too great to me. I'm not a whiskey person, which was a lot of the drinks. So I got a Dirty Shirley and that was delicious. And I convinced multiple people at my table and another table that we should do Jaeger bombs. So we did Jaeger bombs. And that was fun. But we were there for a decent amount of time. Everyone was just kind of enjoying the last night that we had together.
Yeah.
It was everybody too, which was really great. Some people were at a few different tables, but for the most part, we were all pretty lined up.
Yeah, everybody was just trying to spend some time with each other before we had to get off the boat the next day. So everybody stayed up pretty late that night.
Yeah, because once the live music stopped there, guess where we went?
The piano bar.
The piano bar.
And then even after the piano bar on the last night, a lot of probably about half the group was planning on going to this other like after party thing they had going on. They got there. They said it was kind of lame, so they left. But like they were planning on staying up and doing some more stuff. So
yeah, they tried to go to the club. We said we're gonna get pizza
and go to bed.
And they went to the club. And as we were coming out of the pizza line, they were coming back up because the club sucked.
So everybody went to bed.
But I've heard good things about clubs on the cruise. So I don't know if it's because it was the last night and everyone had to be off the boat early.
Probably had something to do with it.
Or I'm going to go back to it's spring break. And if a lot of the people on the boats were families. Which would also explain why so much of the sports stuff was so crowded.
Yeah.
Because I do think there was a lot of kids on the boat. Because think about it. If your kid only has a short spring break, or if they don't have a spring break, they would have only needed a day or two off of school.
Yeah.
That's not that much to take them off. So I think that definitely had a big factor in it too.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Got off the boat the next day. There was a delay getting off the boat, so it was pretty crowded trying to get off. We've never experienced that. But once it got going, it was good. We just had to wait an extra 30 minutes to disembark. I feel bad for everyone who had an early flight. Hopefully everybody made it.
Everybody made it. What was your favorite part? Let's go this. Favorite food, favorite activity.
My favorite food was the unlimited ice cream.
Okay. At
all times. I had a lot of chocolate ice cream. My favorite activity, this is going to sound cheesy, but I 100% mean this when I say it, was the nights with the agents. Going to the piano bar with them, going to the Irish bar with them, just spending time with the agents or even in the ocean. Like a lot of them were out there swimming with me and just being with them was definitely, I'm an extrovert. This is what I look forward to on vacations and getting to spend time with these people that I only get to see once a year or have just finally met after talking to them virtually for so long was definitely my favorite part of it.
Okay.
What about you?
Favorite food is kind of a toss-up between the prime rib on the first night and the mozzarella sticks because they were really good mozzarella sticks.
Okay.
And favorite activity is probably just I can't narrow it down to one activity because like the whole day at CocoCay was just so much fun.
Just
like
beating
you said,
Bruce at every
well,
game.
I mean, I love lawn games like lawn darts.
Are they illegal?
Cornhole. They might be. I don't know. Lawn darts, cornhole, horseshoes, ring toss. I love all that stuff. It's so much fun to me. I could just stand there with a drink in my hand and play those games literally all day and be totally fine. So I had a great time doing that, a great time in the ocean. Just the day at CocoCay, I think overall is the highlight for me.
Okay. So a whole day.
Yeah.
If we mix ours together, it really makes a whole day because the whole day at CocoCay and then the whole night with the agents, perfect.
There we go.
It's perfect. Something I do want to note, we just overall notes for the boat itself. We did eat at almost every place that was included on the boat. So we ate at the main dining room. We ate at the Windjammer, which is the buffet. We ate at the Solarium Bistro, which is the buffet in the adults only area. There were kids in there. I don't think they're super strict about it, but it technically was the adults only area. We ate at Cafe Promenade, which was the 24-hour area that just had like sandwiches and cookies and small bites like that. We ate at Sorrento's, which was some pretty crappy pizza, but it's really good after you get a few drinks in you.
Yep.
We ate at the Doghouse on the boardwalk. Really good without any drinks in you. Hot dogs and bratwurst.
Yeah, and sausages.
We ate at El Loco Fresh, which is the Mexican food. Like Rick said, was the tacos, the nachos, the flan, the burritos, quesadillas, all that good stuff. There's also the Park Cafe which is the same food as Cafe Promenade. We didn't end up eating there, but
Just
it's usually
in
the
Central
same.
Park.
Yeah, just in Central Park. Vitality Cafe, which is in the gym, mainly smoothies and like healthy food options. You didn't go there, right?
I did not go there.
I didn't either. And then the other option that is included for breakfast is room service.
Yeah, you can get room service like continental breakfast. So you can't get, there's continental and there's American breakfast, I think is how they classify it. And American is like the eggs, the bacon, all that stuff. You can get like bagels, cereal, oatmeal, milk, like that kind of stuff. You can get room service to your room. It's included.
Yeah, but the like eggs and bacon you have to pay extra for if you want that delivered. Or you just go down to the Windjammer and get it for free.
Yeah, and you can take it back to your room too. That's the nice thing about the places that are included is like at the Windjammer. If you want to go get your food at the Windjammer and you have an outside balcony and you want to go eat your food while you're sitting in your room, they don't care. You can go get your food, walk out, go back to your room and eat it in your room.
Yeah.
You're on a boat. Plates and dishes aren't going anywhere, so they don't care.
They always make it back to where they need to be.
Exactly.
It's okay.
So that's one of my favorite parts about like the food options is you can get it and you can go anywhere.
Oh, we had taquitos from the truck. I forgot about the food truck.
Oh, the food truck. Yeah, there's a food truck on the pool deck. They had sandwiches and taquitos and empanadas.
They were good.
Yeah.
That was a good one. And then, of course, the ice cream.
Of course.
The nonstop ice cream. Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah.
That was it. That's all of it. If you have questions, if we maybe didn't clarify specifically something that we did, or if you're just curious about something and you want to know, like, oh, did you guys do this or have you done this? Feel free to reach out to us. You can reach out via email, spillitypodcast@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us on social media. We are at spillitypod on TikTok, at spillitypodcast on Instagram. Other option, too, if you heard this, you're interested in booking, or you have questions about anything we talked about, we just spent this whole weekend with a bunch of agents from 407 and beyond. Reach out to one of them. They can get this booked for you, or you can find them on 407vacations.com and just put in a quote. You'll get a free no obligation quote. Tell them where you want to go, and one of them will reach out to you. There was a bunch of agents with us. We had a great time with all of them. If you're one of the agents and you're listening to this right now, I miss you already. Can't believe I have to wait a few months or who knows how long until I see you again. I had a great time. I really did.
It was a good trip. A lot happened in 3 days.
Yeah.
Can't imagine if it was a week. I probably would sleep for another week at least.
Probably would have slept in a little bit more if it was a week. We were up late and then up early because we wanted to get as much in as we could. Honestly though, it's the people. It's a great team of people, and it's a great team and to be with, and we had so much fun with them. So I feel like that's part of the exhaustion was you don't want the fun to end. It wasn't even like FOMO. It was like I'm just not ready. Like I'm not ready to leave here.
Yeah, it was most of the nights
be a part of it.
Were confliction within myself of I am exhausted, but I'm also having a good time, and I don't want to stop having a good time.
See, I never had that confliction because it was I'm not exhausted. I'm a night person. But then in the morning when the alarm went off, I was like, no way the boat is docked already. There's no way it's already morning.
See, the alarm went off in the morning, and I was ready for breakfast.
Yeah, no, I was like, there is no way. I don't believe it. It's not happening. But yes, we had a great time with a great group of people. We would not be recommending them to you if we didn't believe that, guys.
True.
So we thoroughly enjoy every single one of them. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But again, reach out to us, reach out to them. Thank you so much for listening. Come back next week. We'll have more Disney content for you. We'll be off the Royal Caribbean. I was going to say train, but off the Royal Caribbean ship.
Yeah, there you go.
And until then, though, we will
see you at the castle.